One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents, whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way, so she's a much more jaded character.
Let's talk about the next big announcement, which was Supergirl.
Oh.
So basically, James Gunn said that it's going to be based off of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which was a story arc from writer Tom King. I feel like Supergirl is going to be kind of like a stand-in for Wonder Woman until they figure out what they're going to do with that. Also, you know, we're kind of coming off the CW version of Supergirl, which left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. And this Supergirl sounds like it's going to be kind of like a little bit darker, a little bit more edgy, because she's not going to be like the kind of like paragon that Superman is, because she grew up in a different way. Danny, what's your take on this? Or okay, Brian, what's your take on this?
Yeah, the thing about I'm sorry, I can hear myself.
Yeah, Danny.
Huh?
There you go.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Brian.
Supergirl has never really been done correctly. People go back and look at the TV show that started on CBS, and then CBS was smart enough to cancel it, but then the Warner Brothers CW was dumb enough to buy it and bring it into the Greg Berlanti universe.
Ugh.
It was garbage, and it was garbage because they didn't understand what Supergirl was. It was always them trying to take Supergirl and shove that character through the same mold that is Superman. Literally down to the point where she works as a reporter at a news agency, right? And she wears glasses, and she's basically just a stand-in for Superman. And they didn't have the money to have Superman, so they would show her texting her cousin Superman on the phone. It was the silliest thing ever. She would be messaging Superman instead of talking to him because they didn't have the money to actually have another actor.
Brian, I have to interrupt you for 1 second. Coming to us from his underground bunker in Ohio is the one and only Conspiracy Tom.
Conspiracy Tom.
What's up, guys? I freaking made it.
Tom.
What's up, Tommy?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Just thrilled and excited to be here, y'all. Just living it up in Ohio. It's like 15 degrees.
Tom, so like we're at the point where we're talking about the Supergirl announcement. So we've covered a lot of stuff already, but what's your overall take on the slate of DC that we've gotten so far?
I'll keep it short because I know I'm cutting in late. I think that DC has every opportunity right now to take over for whatever the foreseeable superhero franchises are going forward. I think Marvel's really floundered under the Disney leadership, and are just not bringing anybody who wants to see these films what they want to see. So really now is the time for DC to shine. Give us something we want to see. I think like shows like The Last of Us has really shown that if you stay true to source material, stay true to things that people love, that the fans are going to enjoy it, and you're going to bring people in because they're established stories that people like, and not narratives that are trying to force on people. So I'm really hoping for DC to really take this opportunity and give us something we want to see, as opposed to cramming something down our throat. And I think that's my feelings on DC. Yeah.
So speaking of women who are stronger than you, what's your take on the Supergirl movie announcement?
I didn't see too much on that one. I did see that apparently they want Elliot Page to be Superman.
Awesome.
And
I'm down.
That is not.
That is a terrifying concept that none of us are prepared to even understand to unravel.
Guys, there's a reason his name is Conspiracy
Yes.
Tom.
Okay.
So
I want to thank Tom really quick for coming in because he made his $2 from JT. 20 for Tom, $2.
I want my $2.
Yes.
Ah, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, that was such a fun watch along yesterday. Yeah.
Danny. Shh.
Rock and roll, guys. I love
That
it.
movie's awesome.
all right.
Danny can't talk until he figures out if he's going to be gone or away.
No,
Okay.
I'm not there's certain things that I'm allowed to do on other streams and not yours. I'm trying to be respectful. That's all.
So Brian,
Okay.
we interrupted you with the introduction of Tom. Finish your thought about Supergirl.
Yeah, so what I was saying was, most times they do Supergirl, they do it through the lens or like the mold of Superman. They try to shove her into that mold. But in reality,
Yeah.
Supergirl has a really tragic story, right? So her planet exploded when she was old enough to see it happen. She was supposed to protect her cousin who was a baby. But because of time shenanigans and time and wormholes or whatever, however they got to Earth, he got there when by the time she got there, he was already grown. So her story is much more tragic. She didn't have the Kansas upbringing of a proper child. She was thrust into this like really sort of tragic story as a young adult and has none of the training and none of the humanity that Superman does.
Especially in
makes
the
for-
run they're basing it off of, The Woman of Tomorrow. That's
right.
super
That
dark.
makes it a
Yeah.
very interesting story. So if they actually stick to that and they don't do what they don't make the mistake that they've made every single time, then it'll be good.
I want to know what a proper Kansas upbringing entails.
Or whatever, you know, like you gotta
Oh
love all
shucks,
humans.
man.
You gotta kill it yourself.
Yeah.
You gotta go pick it out of the garden.
Yeah, human life is precious, and
Yeah.
protect everyone. Yeah, she wasn't growing. She was born in. She's more like Zod than Kal-El.
Isn't she raised on like in the bottle city or whatever?
Well, she's not even raised. She shows up already as a young adult.
She puts her feet up on the table and everything.
Well, no,
No,
she has
no.
to watch everyone she loves die, and she can't do anything about it. And then when
Yeah.
she thinks she's going to get to her cousin to save little baby Clark, or Kal-El,
I
he's grown.
I want to know one thing. If I'm alone on my hill here of absolutely giving 0 Fs about Supergirl, I don't care.
I
This is not a
normally would agree
character-
with you.
This is not a character I give any craps about or want to see in a movie or whatever. She's just always been this little extraneous hanger-on character. to
One
me.
question
Normally
I
would
ha-
agree with you. Woman of
one-
Tomorrow is exceptional. If you haven't read it,
One question I have, and maybe Brian has some insight into this, is that so we know that the Flash movie has a version of Supergirl in it. Do you think that version is going to be the one who Gunn uses to basically make this movie?
Yes, played by Sasha, and it actually matches with the story that they were. If they're going with the comic book that they're referencing, it actually makes sense because in the Flash movie, from what I've heard, she gets to Earth and she's immediately basically taken by the military, and she's being held by the military, and they actually break her out to get her help to try to fix the timeline. And I'm not gonna go anywhere any more than that, but it would match perfectly with the version of the comic book that they're trying to portray. If they go that route and they tell the correct story, then they would match up. Like their version, their Supergirl and the Flash would match perfectly with that version.
it'd be
that they're trying to
aesthetically
tell.
different, but I guess
It'd be aesthetically different, but it would still
tonally
work.
Yeah, yeah.
And Sasha, whatever her name is, looks like a really good Supergirl to me.